People literally say, black people don't fuck with you. You've betrayed your race. We don't want to fuck with you.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Brose here, and I'm back with a new video. Today, we're going to be talking about integrity for a check. Now, you might say, what do you mean by that? My definition is the problem with trading your integrity for a check. And I'm going to talk about the long-term and harder consequences and how it's harder to recover from that. So let's get into it today. Now, when some people compromise their values and their principles and honesty for money, now they may gain income status and a lot of, notoriety in the short run, but it has potential consequences. Now, you lose a lot of self-respect in the end. Now, you might not lose it immediately, but you lose it in the end. A peace of mind, damage to reputation, trust from others. You become less credible in what you say and become dependent on opportunities that require further compromises. And you low key feel disconnected from one's beliefs. And regret may happen when the financial reward is no longer serving you. And that's why you see a lot of rich people become miserable because they trade their integrity and morals for money. And we're going to talk about a few examples here. Now, trust can be earned again, but you have to work on your credibility, your trust, character, and just rebuilding everything that you once sacrificed, right? So it's not a difficult job. So let's talk about in the position of being black, right? So companies frequently leverage black people, mostly celebrity and influencers, to tap into the immense purchasing power of black people. We know we have a big purchasing power, right? And when this strategy lacks genuine investment, it amounts to pandering and superficial marketing, right? Many of these companies use these certain people to pander or to do their dirty work, or they use them to speak in ways where they have a black person speaking negatively on another black person. So because they feel the same way, but they know it may be clocked as racism, so they're going to use what we call an Uncle Tom. Now, the Uncle Tom effect or syndrome, many people describe, which is a psychological tactic, or people use it as a several technique where a black person historically adopts a docile, non-assertive, or subservient demeanor to avoid retaliation from the oppressor to ensure self-preservation. And we see that many, many times again with different people in different situations, like Stephen A. Smith, for example. Now, Stephen A. Smith definitely faced some criticism from the black community, and a lot of them accused him of pandering to conservatives and white audiences for profit, exhibiting hypocrisy and harshly targeting a lot of black people, specifically athletes and politicians, while excluding accountability. More certainly, people have seen commentators and community voices have stated that Smith approached race, politics, media, and different things through the lens of dangerous conflation of profit and principle. Specifically, him having personal profit or personal allies or personal ties rather than doing it on a community advocacy level or just on a humane level. Now, you may say, hey, why do black people always have to be an advocate? Well, or have to play this role? Well, our lives, our identity is a political statement in itself, right? We are living proof of tenacity, resiliency, and overcoming everyday struggles and everyday oppression. There has been many studies coming out that even with every technology advancement, there's still some racism at play to hinder us and to discriminate us from getting jobs, opportunities, different things like that. So when you have someone in a space of opportunity, in a space of privilege, speaking down on people in his community or people that share the same identity as him, it really is uncomfortable, really is one a disappointment. But it shows you that we have people who are going above and beyond ways to hinder us externally, but also internally. Now, this is not a new concept. Like I said, Uncle Tom has been around since even before slavery, But to wrap it all together, that's what people have stated, and as you can see, Stephen A. Smith has exemplified.
The two women. And I hope Jasmine Crockett is listening to this. Is engaging in verbiage and rhetoric for the streets. And you being all disrespectful.
You get loud and all in your feelings about Braun.
That man put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him.
When you talking to a white billionaire, you humble. And you come back on your show talking real respectful, mild manner.
Well, you know what? Listen, I did it. People, headlines are headlines. I certainly meant no disrespect towards him at all. People literally say, black people don't fuck with you. You've betrayed your race. We don't want to fuck with you. Cam, those people can never come back in my life. I'm gonna look in that camera. They can go to hell. They can never come back. Because to know me, you know that cut deep.
Racism doesn't exist. Not for you. You don't have to go to the back of the bus. You're not denied the opportunity to eat at restaurants, or to enter nightclubs, or to patronize businesses. You have the right to go. You're not being lynched. You're not being hung. You need to understand that white folks got problems too. Some of them can't pay their bills. Some of them are struggling. Some of them are being denied opportunities.
Specifically, Joy Reid had publicly blasted him, claiming he is being rewarded by white-dominated media networks to bash black people and black women in specific.
We're doing, right?
Yeah.
And also, Stephen A. Smith, weirdly enough, has created this political show with a set that looks like my old set, which is very creepy. And then third of all, dude, you're not a political pundit. Stick to sports.
Thank you.
Stick to sports.
Listen, I was first take happy. I liked how Steve, I like how
He's good at
controversial.
that.
His sports thing, I loved it. Oh, what are you? Come on. What are you talking? I loved it. It was fun. I like that. His sports, I get it. Then when he went off on Jasmine Crockett,
Come on. What are you doing?
and you telling her how she should talk to people, I said, what is this tap dancing at? This is real like my boy Shane says, coontastic ass behavior. And I was like, why are you telling Jasmine, who's in the trenches, doing her thing every day? Does she come and tell you how to do sports? He literally told her how he should be talking to she should be talking to white folks. He's literally
Figures also like Ethan Thompson pointing out that Stephen A. Smith attacks black athletes with a harshness he does not reserve for white executives, right? And how they are more harmful than them, but you are attacking black athletes on what they do out for work purposes. People already have a valid critique of black athletes, specifically in football and in the NBA, which I can support because it's run like a slave auction. However, besides the point, you have someone who has been in the industry for years and is using his voice. Now, I'm not saying he tears down every black person because that's not the case, but you can see a pattern recognition in how he speaks about black athletes and black people in the industry versus others, their non-black counterparts. We then can also talk about the Kevin Hart situation, right? And how Mr. Hart, but seriously, Kevin Hart recently faced a lot of significant backlash from the black community and other figures about his Netflix special called The Roast of Kevin Hart. The criticism erupted over racially charged routines by white comedians, notably Tony Hinchcliffe, who made a controversial joke and made many racist jokes, and he's known for his racist jokes, referencing the murder of George Floyd. And it honestly goes into how to tell jokes. Basically, how black people are mainly the ones who are being joked about their race. I mean, other races get joked about it, but we get it on an extreme level, right? And if you're going to tell a joke, don't tell a joke like you're black, ha ha ha. That's really what most of the jokes are about. But back to Kevin Hart, during the roast, Hinchcliffe quipped that Floyd was looking up as laughing so hard he can't, blah blah blah. And rightfully so, the Floyd family, rights advocates, and figures like Pastor Jamal Bryant and other figures condemned the moment, saying, describing it as disgusting, racist, and disrespected disguised as comedy. Critics argued that failing to check the humor in the current climate equates to giving consent in the last as well. In defense, though, Kevin Hart's response during the appearance on Breakfast Club, he defended the nature of the roast culture, where boundaries are meant to be pushed, while admitting specific jokes was not tasteful for black audience. He pushed back on critics asking what he was supposed to do during the live production, saying he should physically drag comedian off the stage or halt the show.
Joke. It wasn't a tasteful joke to our culture, to our audience, but our audience that's watching the roast, if you're watching the roast, you get why they're doing it. You get why the racial humor is on the table. Like, it's not, I wasn't shocked. Like, that's what they do. Go look at the Tom Brady one. Like, that's what they do. It happens every year when they do a roast. It's not new. This isn't it's not a new agenda. It's not a new approach to comedy.
Do you feel like Tony Hinchcliffe went too far when he made that joke about George Floyd?
It's Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't expect less. I don't expect more.
I feel like you're saying going too far is the point. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Yes, I mean, that's why you're there. Mm-hmm. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to, because we're being honest. People are talking about that joke. Talk about his set. Tony Hinchcliffe arguably had the best set, or one of the best sets, between Tony and Cheryl.
When I think about that situation, it really disgusts me because, well, one, the response really disgusts me more than anything about Kevin Hart. He's not seeing the bigger picture of the problem. It's about the person who made the joke. It's about the person who made the joke, and about also your response to how people felt, and you not understanding how this is more so about integrity purposes and what you stand for and what you do not stand for. You went to this man's funeral. You were one who spoke out against it, but you still do not see the error of your ways or the error of his ways, and you're still making excuses for it. And you're supposed to be someone who champions for black people, but you're letting someone who is a racist and disguising it as comedy and using it under guise as comedy to make it seem okay. And I think that's was another thing that happens a lot in media. A lot of the time people use certain things to disguise it or use it as coded language for people to deem it as okay. And a lot of these black comedians want a seat at the table so bad that they will still make room from him. Kevin Hart is arguably one of the biggest comedians in the world right now, right? But look at the people he had first writing the show, the staff, and you still acknowledge and show comfortability, and you showed solidarity with this man, which he still is going to continue to make, these inappropriate extremely racist jokes. And he knew that was a pivotal time in America. And it really shows you the type of person who we have as leaders or people we look at as they're influenced by in these spaces, directing us or leading the charge or leading the community. It really shows you that these people only care about $1. He only care about, this is a roast. This is how much my check is going to be. You're one of the richest men in the world, and you couldn't take the time to be like, okay, this is not right. This don't feel right. Because a lot of people, even in the audience, other comedians like Regina King and stuff, didn't even think that stuff was funny.
Regina Hall is here, everybody. Make some noise. They added her last minute, so I don't really have anything for her, but here's a joke we couldn't do for Cheryl. It's something about Aunt Jemima. I don't know, it got cut. It was clever. You would have loved it. Give it up for Regina Hall, everybody. Make some noise.
Kevin Hart won. Okay, I'll answer. Let me just give you my honest reaction before I get into because I've heard a lot of stuff online and people going back and forth and so forth and so on. First of all, I'm a comic. I'm a comedian. That's what I do. This, how I live my life. I love to laugh. I've done sitcoms. Now I do stand-up comedy. That's fine. But watching the roast, I knew what I was getting into. You know what I mean? The people that have a problem with it, I think they were just expecting comedy, and as it went overboard, and it did go overboard, I think they crossed several lines. We could talk about racism. We could talk about how the fact that they was talking about this woman's husband that killed himself. I was like, damn. Every time they said that shit, I was just like, it wasn't funny to me, but it was like, damn. Sometimes we respond and we laugh. Sometimes we go, ooh, shit, you serious? And it was a whole lot of that. We know. Now, I don't agree. I'm a different type of comedian than a lot of people. There's things that I won't do, an actor, an entertainer, that I just won't do, that are on my list. But there are two types of people out here, man. I mean, there's many different types, but I would just talk about the two that I can speak on. And I will even I'll be as personal as I can. Me and my brother are two different types of people. We're both actors. We're both black men, both raised by two black parents. You know what I mean? Both, love all races. Put it like that. But you know what I mean? But we're different. Now, there's levels of the difference between the two of us other than the 10-year gap. One difference is I have a won't do list of things because I feel I don't need to, especially in comedy.
And other comedians saying this wasn't funny, and this is how you tell a joke, and if you want to use race in it, this is how you build it up and make it actually funny and not actually disgusting, demeaning, and demoralizing. We are the only groups of people that constantly get demoralized, and even after death, we still get treated worse. So it really just shows you how these people in power, these rich black men, are not in spaces for us, but rich black celebrities in general. Also, we can bring up the fact of people who perform at Trump rallies, right? From the Nellies to the Waka Flocka Flames, regarding how Trump's history of regarding marginalized groups, and argue that these artists are validating policy of different artists, different hip hop artists from 50 Cent, Nicki Minaj, Waka Flocka, are using their integrity for a check and not caring about the community as a whole. It's becoming more of if I'm good, I don't give a F about anybody else. So critics within the black community points to Trump's history regarding marginalized groups and argue that these artists are validating policies that are harmful to minorities in exchange for tax breaks. So they're talking about stimulus checks. And other artists, and like I said, 50 Cent, Nelly, and these guys are going to these Snoop Dogg, going to these Trump endorsed events or these Republican that are aligned with Trump events, all for a check, but not understanding that they're using you as a signal of, hey, we like this black person over here, we like so and so over here, and just different things of that nature. And again, ways of money can challenge integrity is, temptation and self-interest that all these guys showcase. Financial rewards can tempt people to bend rules, misinterpret facts, or act dishonesty if they believe the benefit outweighs the risk. And at this time, a lot of them think money is going to outweigh the backlash they get, but this can be reputational harm. Now, a lot of people in the black community can forgive and forget and act like they did it, but out of sight, out of mind. But those who know understand that these are their politics and this is how they are at their core. Then you have power and entitlement. Significant wealth can create a sense of power and immunity, and to believe normal rules do not apply to them. But I always say, a frequently quoted idea is that money doesn't necessarily change who people are. It often reveals and magnifies who they are, their traits that they already present, right? So someone who values honesty may remain honest, right? And when wealth comes, while they're inclined to be selfish, money's involved, they still will not change who they are at their core. In short, money can be a test. It can strengthen, weaken, or expose a person's integrity depending on their character, circumstances, and incentives that they face, but they are who they are at their core at the end of the day. So this video is really just to show you that when these celebrities, especially black celebrities, I'm talking to black people, and just anybody can use this as well. When these people show you who they are, believe them. Right? Not glorify these celebrities. These celebrities are all about themselves. They are not. A lot of them are not about community. You know, your neighbor, the people that work at the Boys and Girls Club, but the people that work for these different agencies that you can walk and talk to. Those are your community people, and you need to get civically engaged and do some community outreach. But yes, I just want to show you some examples. This is a basic video, but just remember these people will trade their integrity for a check. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on my next video. Peace.